Hello everyone, welcome back to Plum Talks. I am super excited to once again invite experienced digital marketer and vice president at Harris& Co, Mr. Emil Eddy. Hi Emil, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing great, and thank you so much for the invite, Natasha. It's a pleasure to be here again on your podcast show.
It's our pleasure and thank you so much for coming for yet another discussion. I think after our last podcast, we realized there's still so much left for us to learn from your experiences. That's why we
Mhm.
are here today. So,
Glad to know that. Yes.
So today we have a very special domain to talk about, which is enhancing your e-commerce brand with competitive intelligence. And who else to talk about e-commerce other than you? So would you tell our audience a little bit about what exactly is competitive intelligence?
Yeah. So basically, competence is nothing but your competitive research, right? Like where how you do your research, how do you learn about your customer, and it comes in uh, like maybe in different ways because
Mhm.
every marketer looks at their competitor in multiple different angles. So on a very simple term, it's all about how do you research about your competitor, how well you know about your competitor, and how exactly you research, and whether the things that you keep monitoring your competitor is an overall term called as competitive intelligence. So that's
Mhm.
how I would put it in very simple terms.
Great. Can you give us an idea of some common practices that we might hear as an e-commerce brand? Our audience might hear about it often, but they don't realize how important it is.
Yeah. Um, so again, in the e-commerce sector, everything keeps changing. There is a
Mhm.
lot of trends coming in due to various different reasons because Meta comes with certain updates. Google comes with certain updates, and the technologies that you use in your e-commerce store, like be it the applications, be it the theme, be it the features of the theme, everything has its own updates, has its own upgradation. And again, technology cannot be the same how it is 10 years back. It has to keep updating and things like that, right? So when it comes to e-commerce, there are multiple different levers you have to look at. Like it's not it's like enormous amount of things when it comes to e-commerce because it's like actually like a customer journey, because when a customer comes into your store, they have multiple different touch points, because initially, even before they come into the store, they look at your ad. Okay. Then they click on the ad, they go to your product page, then they see the various different things in the product page. Inside the product page, there are too many things, be it your images, be it your text, be it the buttons that you use, right? So there are, as I said, like, there are multiple different things. And again, when it comes to e-commerce, it's not about only about one single product. You have multiple different categories. And when you look at your competitors in a competitive intelligence manner, you have to keep up with what kind of categories are they launching. Like specifically, if I talk about skincare, right? Skincare is a segment which comes up with different sort of categories in it. They cannot just survive with maybe a lip care or a skincare or a like a face care part. They have to, being a skincare brand, they have to have multiple diverse products. And if the brand is not ahead of their competitor, they are very well, or very openly we can say that they're not going to succeed in the world of e-commerce, because unless and until you know what exactly your competitor is doing, you will not be able to succeed. And this is what most of the e-commerce brands miss out on. This is what, and I mean, I would literally openly tell that not many e-commerce brands do their research properly, right? And not every founder or marketer do a lot of mistakes when it comes to the competitive research. They just look at certain things and they realize that okay, this is what even we have to do, but they don't do their qualitative research or look at numbers. Or let's say, even if somebody is like maybe implementing a strategy what another brand is doing, they don't do it with proper research. They just replicate it and just get things done, right? So these are the common things which people kind of miss out on. But yeah, there is definitely more elements to it.
I love the fact that you mentioned that there are so many e-commerce brand owners out there who are not appreciating the importance of competitive intelligence and competitive research. So they might start with might have a vague start, like, okay, this is the product that
Yeah.
we want to sell. And maybe if you are a Louis Vuitton, that's a different case.
Mm.
But
Yes.
if you are a uh, if you're an e-commerce brand working in beauty, as you already mentioned, and you do not look at what other brands are doing and what other brands in the similar domain are doing, you might actually lose, because there are so many things brands are putting, there's so many efforts they are putting in first place to make themselves different, to make themselves stand aside,
Yeah,
and so it increases their sales. So just
definitely. That's right.
do you think we can give our audience a quick yet a very specific detailed uh, example of any brand who actually did their work, did their homework, they completed their competitive research, got some feedback from maybe through their teams, and gathered that data and used it while running their business? Do we have any such example?
Yeah. So I can give you like maybe one or two examples, like
Hmm.
based on our experiment that we have done with our e-commerce clients.
Hmm.
So the first one is a jewelry brand. Okay, they were into artificial jewelry, and women's love purchasing artificial jewelry. But here, the common problem that we kind of saw, the brand was good, the products were top notch, they had a good amount of, it was a good AOV brand as well. They had amazing collections, like better than the competitor. But even though we had huge traffic coming into the website, the conversion part was a bit bad. That is, people were not buying things, though we had like a decent amount of customers coming and purchasing. We were not able to achieve certain things, and when we look at the entire funnel, we were seeing a lot of visitors coming in, okay, but the
Hmm.
conversion was low. The sales was there. It's not that sale was not there. Sales were coming in, but the expected conversion rate for that particular brand was pretty low. Okay, so while we were analyzing and while we were going through a similar brand, like our client, we kind of saw this one particular feature where the competitor was actually using a feature in their website where whatever jewelry they wear, whatever jewelry is available on the store, a customer can actually uh, use their phone camera and see whether if the product is good or not within them. Okay,
Oh.
this is one
Mhm.
feature that we, so basically what a Lenskart does, right? Before
Yeah.
you buy any product in Lenskart, they have this
Right.
AI feature, right?
Mhm.
Or AR feature, sorry.
Mhm.
AR feature where you can actually wear the spectacles and see whether if it is suiting your thing or not.
Mhm.
And while we were doing this competitive research, and this idea also somehow we kind of figured out that Flipkart is also doing the same thing, and the
Mhm.
competitor was also doing, but both of them were in the same niche. Okay, so then when we started analyzing the competitor's website, we did see that the competitor's jewelry site was like it was going really well. They were getting good amount of sales. The conversion rates were really good. And there are also certain tools that we can definitely, I can also talk about that, what kind of tools that we use for these competitor results.
Mhm.
And then there was an application in Shopify which does the same thing. Okay,
Mhm.
though the price was a bit high.
Mhm.
Um, I don't remember the name of the application, but we figured out a low cost application which was similar to the one which the competitor was using.
Mhm.
And we added it on our sites, our clients' website. And again, even before we did this, there was also an analysis that we did. We called all these customers and then we started asking questions because we saw a lot of abandoned carts happen. Okay, and
Mhm.
out of which 30% of the customers were certain people were like the price is high or I'm not able to do the payment. These were the reasons that these 30% of the people give. But
Mhm.
remaining 70% of the people, they were actually saying that, hey, I'm not sure whether if that jewelry will actually fit my dress. I have a upcoming wedding season, and it was also a wedding season where we were doing all these experiments, and we were seeing this kind of trend. And the remaining 70% people gave like a very common reason that they did not know whether the jewelry will fit them well or will it suit their face and things like that. So then our entire analysis was actually right, because
Mhm.
people were actually seeking for something that could literally show them how the product will look on them before they purchase the product. Okay, this was a blocker for them, okay, for the
Right.
customers, and hence we were seeing a small dip in sales as well. Okay, or not
Mhm.
a small bit, or a good decent dip in sales as well. Okay, and then we figured out this tool on Shopify itself. There was a company based in Bangalore. I don't remember their name because this was a year back,
Mhm.
and we implemented around. We took our bestsellers. We created a 3D model of that entire 30 products,
Mhm.
and we then asked this company and they uploaded their application, and then we went live, and we were able to see an uplift of 16 percentage in the revenue.
Wow.
Okay, this was the, even though the lift was a bit small, but still it made a good sense in the overall revenue of the brand. So this
Absolutely.
was one experiment that we were able to do for our client for specifically, and this strategy works out really well for jewelry brands, because every woman, even if you go to a normal offline store, if you want to purchase jewelry, be it gold or be it artificial, you
Yeah.
literally again, no offense to every woman, but every woman wants to see different collections, wants to wear the product and see certain women also, I've seen them, even like my own cousin sisters, they usually take the dress what for which they want to buy a matching a
Jewelry.
necklace, and then they go to the shop, right? This is the common trend that I see with most of the women, right? So when it comes to the online space, this is not possible, but this is possible by using these kind of applications, which again, which has a little bit of cost, because these companies has to create the 3D model of that particular product. Without creating a 3D model of that, you will not be able to make it like an AR filter, right? So this is something that worked out really well for our jewelry client. And there is one more case study, I would say. So this was a very simple thing. So we are currently working with a skincare brand, and this was exactly like 3 months back, where we did this experiment. We were trying to get more prepaid orders for the brand. Okay,
Mhm.
that particular brand was getting orders, like they were doing around 25 to 30 lakhs a month, but the only problem that the client was facing is that they needed some solution which will help them get a prepaid order rather than getting a COD order. Because when a COD order comes in, there is a lot of chances where the RTO rates increase as well. So this store was actually having a lot of, though the order volume, see, and again, when in e-commerce, when you have huge order volume, right, there are higher chances for you to get a RTO issue. Okay, that
Yeah.
is, people order the product, and by the time they
They
get the
return
product
it.
to their place,
Mhm.
they return it. So that's
Yeah.
called RTO, right?
Mhm.
And this is the trend that we were seeing for this particular brand.
Mhm.
And again, skincare products, like usually certain people just like they just order the product just for the sake of it. Okay, but then it's a common problem I've seen in most of the skincare brands.
Yeah.
And so then we were figuring out like how can we increase our prepaid orders. And then we went to this company called as GoQuick is an RTO solution platform, and we saw the same tool being used by another skincare brand for almost like 3 to 4 months of time. And when I had a word with this person from GoQuick, he also mentioned this brand name, and I exactly asked him like, this is exactly why we came to you. We saw you guys using this particular client using GoQuick. And so basically, what's the idea over there? So it was just a simple change. Instead of the buy now button, we just replace the button with GoQuick's button, which has the option to add some elements. That is, you pay it in UPI and you get another 5% discount. Okay,
Okay.
so you make the
Mhm.
customer go to that extra step. You make the prepaid order, and we give you 5% extra discount, right?
Oh.
And this kind of help the brand just by changing the button over there. Nothing else been changed in the product page. Only the button has been changed, and GoQuick has its own set of facilities where they verify your mobile number before you even make purchase. And Goku is a very big partner, because they initially, when they launched their product, they gave it to the bigger giants, D2C giants in India, and they do have a like I think 90 million people's database, so they are easily able to identify whether if the person has a good purchase history or not. So
Yeah.
based on that, the tool automatically switches between from COD to prepaid. If the how would I put it? If the person's order history is very bad, that is, if he has made a lot of cancellations or RTO, the tool automatically closes down the COD option, and
Really.
there's will
Mhm.
be prepaid option over there. So this small change on the website help them go from 25 to 32. Now they're almost doing 37 lakhs a month, right?
Wow.
This, and
Mhm.
again, now we have 70% of the prepaid orders coming. Before it was 40%. Now we have 70% prepaid orders, and remaining 30% is COD. So literally GoQuick also helped, but again, this was again an experimentation where we saw a competitor using such technologies,
Mhm.
and we implemented the same for our clients, and we did see a good amount of increase in the prepaid orders. So the end goal was pretty simple: get
Yeah.
me more prepaid orders. That's it.
Mhm.
And yeah, these are two examples that I could
Mhm.
uh, definitely share with the audience as of now.
Thank you so much. I think that makes a lot of sense because what's happening, especially I think for small e-commerce brands, what they think is they start making the product better. They started, if they don't see a lot of sales, they invest into ads, they might invest into website, they might go and make better products instead of doing all that. I think with both the examples that you shared, the one thing that was common there was to understand the problem really well,
Yeah,
right? So
exactly.
in
That's
both
right.
the cases, what you did was you understood that okay, sales are not going up, and we think that we have a decent product, and they might even have great products. But what you realized was, if you could just take a step down and just look into what other people are doing, and see what differentiating thing that they what differentiating effort that they're putting into the market, which actually is increasing their sale. And I think in both the cases it worked really well, just by looking at your competitors and realizing, okay, this is something that we can do.
Exactly.
And the example that you shared about Gopik, I think Misho is also doing something very similar. They offer you,
Yes, so they also have the option. Yeah.
right? They give you two options. I shop a lot, so I know that Misho offers
Okay.
this, that
Yeah,
you
so
can
they
see
have
the,
they have that facility inbuilt,
yeah.
but when it comes to having a Shopify website, you need to depend on a third party solution.
Mhm,
Someone like either you can go for GoQuick. GoQuick is the warp of reducing RTO
mhm,
orders. Okay, and
mhm,
the second one is a tool called a Shopflow. But
mhm,
Shopflow doesn't have like a high end feature like how GoQuick is, but it's definitely these guys are also building their product. It's just been a few years since they have launched.
mhm,
But again, GoQuick the same, but GoQuick went a bit advanced, but
mhm.
Shopflow is also I would say like maybe in few months they would also reach that level. But these are certain tools that you can actually use for reducing your RTO orders.
Right.
So yeah.
That is going to be very helpful for all the listeners who are facing the similar problem, I guess.
Yes.
So, a quick question before we move on to the next step. So, you mentioned that there are some tools that you are using for competitive research. Can you mention two to three
Yeah.
tools that you're using?
Yeah, so number one tool is called as Similar Web. Okay, I'm not sure how many people know about this tool, but Similar Web has a free version, though it is a paid tool. It still has a free version,
Mhm,
but that free version gives a lot of data to you. The moment you take your competitor's website, you
mhm,
take their URL, you go paste it on Similar Web. If
mhm,
the store has, again, that tool doesn't work for every single brand, but if the
mhm,
brand has a good reach, or maybe they're pumping too much money into ads, then the traffic is huge. The tool will be able to pick up these details. So once you enter the information into Similar Web, it kind of gives you data like which channel is driving them sale, whether it is organic, SEO, or is it direct, or is it through your ads. And even in that, they give you a diversification where if it is Facebook ads or if it is Google. So this gives you a clear cut idea where these brands are actually investing more money. And let's say if it is a skincare brand,
mhm,
I've seen most of the skincare brands spending like around 40 percentage in Meta and 60 percentage in Google. Reason being is most of the skincare people, whoever is very much interested in skincare, they usually go to YouTube and search for a lot of things. So they make
mhm,
sure skincare, uh, most of the skincare brand right now this is what the trend they use. They spend 40 percentage in just to show that there is a brand like this. They use Meta. Okay,
mhm,
but eventually every single woman or even men nowadays, if they want to buy anything with respect to skincare, they first Google about the brand and then they go ahead with the purchase, because
mhm,
nowadays people are very smart. They look at what elements that are present inside the product, and then they make the purchase. So this is where brands are also even smarter than the audience, because when somebody is searching for a particular product, they make sure that they are in front of the audience as well. So this is how skincare brand do. And Similar Web gives you this exact data, though it is not like very much accurate, but at least you get a fair bit of idea on what the brand is doing. And
okay.
also it gives you ideas like which keywords are they using, what kind of keywords is actually driving them traffic, where exactly are they getting their referral traffic from, what kind
Mhm,
of ads are they running on Meta, what kind of discovery campaigns are they running in YouTube. So these are the kind of, or maybe even Google display campaigns, what is the actual post that they're using. Sometimes that also SimilarWeb tries to fetch these data. So these are the kind of data these guys pull in. And once you get to know about the referral sites which are referring these website, right, you can
mhm,
also, being a skincare brand, you can also go and list your products in those particular blogs or websites, so that way you also drive traffic. And if a particular site is driving a good amount of traffic to a particular brand, that means that site has a good authority,
Mhm.
and you should also definitely go and list your product, so that way you also get some authority from that website, right?
Yeah.
So this is one tool that can, this is like a free tool that you can use.
Mhm.
And there is this one more tool which I'm currently exploring. It's been like 4 or 5 months since I've been exploring this tool, and I got to see this tool from a YouTube video. It's called as Panorama. Okay,
Mhm.
Panorama Meta. Okay, that's
Okay.
the name of the tool. So what
Mhm.
this tool does is it's similar to SimilarWeb. It's very similar to SimilarWeb, but it's a paid tool.
Okay.
But I'm currently been utilizing their free version by using different mail IDs, because
Mhm.
I wanted to know if the tool is, because it's a bit expensive. I think they charge around $89 a month, but this is far more better what SimilarWeb can provide you. In this, you also get, once the moment you put the competitor's website link in this particular tool,
Mhm.
they literally fetch every single thing of that particular brand, be it their landing pages, be it their email newsletters, be it their social media posts, be it their ads. Everything comes into one single database, one single
Mhm.
dashboard. You get to see everything. Okay, and at the same time, the best part is that let's say if if your competitor has made any pricing changes, this
Mhm.
will also fetch that data and give it to you, like in which particular date what pricing has changed, what offer they have launched,
Mhm.
and if they have made any changes on their landing page, it also fetches that data. So literally, you can actually literally be like a spy even without the competitor knowing,
Mhm.
right? So that's how crazy this tool is. And these are the SimilarWeb is always been my go-to tool. And there is also one more tool that I can suggest, is SparkToro. SparkToro is basically a tool which will help you understand if what is the trend that is going on certain competitors. The moment
Mhm.
you list your competitors over there, if they have done some mentions, or if some other customer has mentioned anything about that particular brand, it fetches that in exact post to you on the dashboard. So
Mhm.
that way you know what exactly the customers are talking about, and with that you can come up with different good ad copies. You have tons of opportunities over there. So these are
Yeah.
the major three tools. Sparktor is something I use like very like, or almost for 20 percentage, but remaining time my uh, how do I put it, like 50 percentage time is spent on SimilarWeb, and I keep
Mhm.
analyzing brands, what they do, how much are they ranking in Google and things like that, and remaining percentage goes into exploring this tool called as Panorama Meta.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Just wanted to understand one basic thing here. You also mentioned that the Panoramata it's the
yeah,
name, right? So
yes, that's right.
they let you know the pricing analysis as well, like what are the changes in prices of your
Yes,
competitors.
yes,
So is it, as an
yes.
e-commerce brand, how important is it? Like if
Yeah,
we are
so
looking
being
from the
an
competitor.
e-commerce brand, like again, taking the example of a skincare niche, skincare brand, it
Mm-hmm.
is very important to know what exact pricing is your competitor doing. Because let's say if you're selling the same product like what they are doing, how do you stand out in the front of your audience, right?
Right.
You give, somebody sees an ad which has the same pricing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The customer will obviously be confused, right? So in order to make sure that you have some moat on your product, certain times competitor keep changing their pricing here and there, or maybe they give some discounts and things like that. So if you're not knowing that, then it's like you're like running into a maze without knowing where you want to go,
Yeah.
right? That's how I would put it, right? So it is very, very important to know what kind of changes is the brand doing. Are they changing any banners on their website? And this tool gives you complete data. Like even if they change like a very small thing on your on their website, you literally get to know what are they doing. Because if you know what exactly they're doing, you can also try replicating that
Yeah.
stuff in your own way,
Ways.
or in your own brand tone, or whatever way it could be, right?
Makes
So,
sense.
and again, in e-commerce, pricing plays a lot of role, because there are similar brands. Again, not only skincare, be it apparel, nowadays there are very similar products coming out in the market.
Mm-hmm.
And as of now, I feel D2C is very much crowded, because if you take any product, there will be a replicate D2C brand for that. So
Yeah.
that's how in India specifically it is going on. And every day there is a new brand coming, and especially skincare is pretty much saturated, because everywhere you go into any ad that you open, you will definitely see a skincare brand
Skincare
coming
brand.
up, and a lot of celebrities are also nowadays
Started there.
launching skincare
Yeah.
specifically. So it's pretty much crowded, and unless and until you have something unique about your product, it is very difficult to actually scale in the skincare niche, because that's the experience that we have. And we've also been certain times struggling with certain things, but that's how the market is. So
Yeah.
you have to go through all these stuff.
Mhm. Absolutely. I think so much information you just gave. And when we look at it, we realize, okay, these are the things that we never, as from the e-commerce lens, if we look at it, we realize that these are the things that we never even bothered about talking, because these small things really make a vast difference in the sale. At the end of the day, everything
Mhm.
is sales. Only sales matter as an e-commerce. So
Yeah,
these small things can make a lot of difference in these sales, right? moving
absolutely.
moving ahead, somewhere before this podcast, I was reading and doing my research. So I was looking for the top 5 problems that e-commerce owners are facing, and I
Mhm.
just wanted to understand with your experience, is it true or not, because I just did the research. So I was hoping in the back of my mind that it would be sales, maybe sales could be one of their priorities. But to my surprise, it came that the top 5 priorities were very different, and number second or number third was competitive analysis. And it was also
Mhm.
mentioned somewhere that competitive research can actually make a huge impact on the decisions that you're making, and it can actually break or make a decision. So what do you want to say on this one?
I would definitely agree, right? Like as I said, as I also said in my previous thing,
Mm-hmm.
unless and until you know your competitor like the back of your palm, it's
Mm-hmm.
very difficult to scale in the e-commerce level. I'm being very open, because I have a team who specifically does this in our agency.
Oh.
Okay, who's
Mm-hmm.
only focused on doing research. I have a CRO team who every day they take a brand which even they wouldn't have heard anywhere. So what this is the basic task that I've given to them. So every day my CRO team has to go to Google, search for skincare brand in India, and see which are the brands that you have never heard of.
Okay.
Okay, and they pick the brand and see what they're actually doing. Okay, and we also literally, this is how we outreach people as
Mm-hmm.
well, right? We find mistakes, because now that we have enough amount of experience in the e-commerce space, this is literally how we outreach to customers, because we don't outreach to them in just saying that, hey, we have worked with so and so brand, this is the revenue that we have generated. This is bullshit. Nowadays every single person does this, but not many people. So, and there are also certain agencies who only focus on one part of the e-commerce thing, right? That is, for example, let's say if an agency is specialized in social media marketing, they only reach out for social media marketing. But in e-commerce, you have to be omni-channel. Just by optimizing one platform doesn't give you good results, right?
Yeah.
And again, you always have to stay ahead of your competition as well, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what we actually do is we take a brand. So right now, we are actually auditing a celebrity brand. Okay, I'm not putting the
Wow.
name here because it's a bit confidential.
Yeah.
But we are currently auditing a celebrity brand from South India.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and literally their website is shit. Okay, literally shit. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing into it, and they don't get much sales as well. It's
Oh.
just a brand which has the uh, tagline that it is a celebrity brand. That's it, but they're
Oh.
not getting
Yeah.
sales. Okay,
So it
the
has the
product is good.
brand value. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the product is good, but not many people are ready to buy. Reason being is, when somebody, even though if it is a celebrity brand, people come into the website and there is nothing about the product. it's
Oh.
it's a plain vanilla kind of page that you
Yeah.
see on their thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and again, when it comes to, and it's a skin and hair care brand. That's the only thing that I can reveal right now.
Mhm.
But when you are somebody who's trying to purchase a skincare or a hair care product, they, as I said, like, people actually look into the substances, what is the elements that is used in that particular product, every single thing. They even look at what kind of formulation is done in the product, because
Yeah.
that's how smart people are nowadays, because there are a lot of influencers who talk about these kind of things, right?
Mhm.
And there is also an Instagrammer called Food Farmer. I'm not sure if you know. So he literally bashes every single FMCG products out there,
Mhm.
including Maggie and things like that.
Yeah.
That's how the content creation game is also going on right now. People don't believe celebrities, people believe content creators.
Yeah.
That's how the trend is going. That's how the world is going forward, right?
Mhm.
So this is what we do. So we basically take the brand whichever we feel is not doing really well. We pick the brand, we compare them with the competitor, we say that, hey, this is the competitor in your same niche and they are doing so and so this, why are you not doing this? Right?
Oh.
We don't say do this, we ask you why you don't do this. right? And then we give them an explanation on, we also create some assets and give it to them. If you guys are onboarding us, this is how we can make your brand better. So we show them the solution and the result, and then we pitch them. We don't just pitch them and say you come for a meeting and then we'll have a discussion. We'll directly give them the entire part. If you're interested, you come and talk to us.
Yeah.
Right. So that is
Makes
how
more
we are
sense.
doing. And even I feel most of the agencies also should start doing this. There are certain agencies which just uh, that's sort of like they only focus on one part of the particle or one part of the element in e-commerce. But in order to sustain, in order to grow a brand profitably, you cannot just focus on one platform, but you also have to focus on the foundational things as well, which is first of all the website, right? Because that's where people land into, and then your other parts of the element, be it social media, paid ads, WhatsApp marketing, and then the major important aspect comes into the CRO part as well. Because I don't see any e-commerce brand giving more importance to CRO, and I don't even see any brand owners at least having a look at what their competitors do. I see this is the main problem that I see, and that's why maybe the article which you read about might have spoken about this point, because it's a very true. Because even the clients that we currently work with, they don't look at their competitors. They just look at, they don't look at competitors in the way where how is their landing page built, what are the informations they've been adding onto the landing page, what is the necessary things that my brand should have. They don't have this knowledge, right? And we as a marketing agency are actually educating our clients, and we are also educating, I'm also trying to educate D2C founders through my content on LinkedIn and Instagram as well. So this is what I feel a big miss is there in the e-commerce space. Not many people know. Even there are also certain people who doesn't know how to do competitive research. Actually, it's not very difficult task. It's just basically looking at your competitor and see what kind of patterns are they doing, what kind of patterns are they using, what kind of trends are they coping up with, what kind of elements are they using in their entire brand. So this is a very basic thing which actually people miss out on. And again, even if you look at bigger brands who are doing even 1 CR 2 CR a month, literally they are actually burning money. Okay, even if somebody is making 1 CR a month, they would be definitely, not every brand, but still there will be certain brands who will be even spending 70 lakhs to get that 1 CR in ads. Okay, but if they are able to do their competitor research right, and if they're able to do some good CR activities to their website, then there will be a lot of difference. Like the example that I shared with my own jewelry client and the skincare client that we worked with, right? Just a small change based on what the competitor is doing, we did on a website, and we did see a good amount of increase in their revenue, right? So that's how brands need to go. Because D2C cannot be, see, whenever a new founder or new brand starts, right, they start the brand with the mindset having that within 3 months they can become a profitable brand. It's again a bullshit thing. Okay, you need a minimum of 1 year to stabilize. First of all, people should know about your brand, people should start using your product, and you need to also have a good retention rate also in that case, right? But I don't think anybody is doing the basics properly, and they just launch the brand as it is. And after like few months, they blame the agency for not bringing in the revenue, right? So that's the kind of scenario. Even again, we've also gone through certain things like that, and I've also seen other agencies also going through the same thing. But it's purely, I would say, there is no proper education given for D2C founders. I mean, like budding D2C founders. And so yeah, this is how it is right now. The situation is.
I think it's very knowledgeable and interesting how you put the problem there, because they don't the line when you mentioned, they don't even realize that they have to look into the competitive research to directly jump into the market, and they think that's how we are going to make the sale without doing their research. And eventually maybe some of them fail, and maybe some of them get external help and start doing that research, start finding out what are the things that actually is helping our competitors. Awesome. um, just for a second, Emil. I think, yeah, we
Yeah.
only have 3 minutes left here. Can I?
Oh,
I'm
okay.
really sorry because
No, no,
we have
you
some
can maybe send me a
issues.
new link.
Yeah, we have some
No
issues
issues.
zoom through. That's why. I'll just send
No worries. You
immediately,
can send
Emil.
me a new link.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
yeah. Where will you be sending to me?
On LinkedIn
You'll
only.
send it on LinkedIn?
Yeah,
Okay, okay, sure.
just give me two
I'll
minutes.
take it
I'll
out.
share another.
Sure, sure, sure. No problem. Sure.
All right, Emil, moving ahead with our next question. So, in tangible terms, what specific impacts on key metrics like conversion rates and customer loyalty do you think a business can have if they complete their competitive research? And do you think there are such effects of competitive research on these conversion rates or KPIs? We can start with
Yes,
that.
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. The reason why you're actually doing a competitor analysis, or reason why you're doing a change on a website, is
Mhm.
to basically increase your conversion rate, is the first thing, right?
Right.
So there are two parts to it. One is obviously, if you're able to increase your conversion rate, it's better. That is a person coming into the website and from as a visitor, and
Mhm.
if you're able to convert that visitor into a purchase or a customer, then that is the actual goal of, and that's the overall funnel also, right? So but in order to convert them faster, you need to have a lot of elements in your website. It could be various multiple things that I mentioned as well before,
Yeah.
right? But definitely doing a competitive research, 100% it helps you increase your conversion rate, because like in the skincare brand example also that I mentioned, like just by viewing a competitor, a similar brand like them, where
Mhm.
they were just using a particular tool to increase their prepaid orders, that increased my conversion rates as well,
Yeah.
because customers were okay to get a 5% more discount. Though they were getting a lot of discounts, we were still giving them a 5% discount if you are doing a prepaid order, and customers were okay with that, right? And second part is your obviously the loyalty thing. I feel even um, a lot of e-commerce brands even today, they miss out on the post purchase experience of the customer, right? A customer has come, they have purchased a particular product, but after the purchase, what is the brand actually doing? Not many brands are doing anything. They just leave the customer as it is. Okay.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
there are certain really good brands who focus on the post purchase experience, right? By giving them like a customized personalized note. There are certain e-commerce brands, whenever you get I'm not sure if you have experiences, but there are certain brands which I usually purchase
Mhm.
products. Like one or two times, I've got a personalized note from the founder, a return note. Okay,
Oh.
so that makes me like that. It's also that also maybe they would have seen some other brand doing, and they would have implemented for them. But again, as a customer, it made me happy, right? And it was not like a printed document or a printed card. It was a return
Handwritten.
note with the
Mhm.
founder's signature, and he also mentioned my name in the return note, right? So it's at that personalized, right? And this was also during Diwali. So I purchased a skincare product. Okay, I also got into skincare right now. Okay, so
Right.
then I got this note from a founder, and that made me feel really good. It was giving me a happy feeling. Okay, and definitely I also told this to 10 different people, right? So
Mhm.
now they will also definitely go and do it. So if you're
Yeah.
able to make your customer happy, obviously that customer will go and recommend your products to another friend of them, and
Yeah.
let's say if they're also happy, then they go and recommend. That's how you create this word of mouth marketing thing, right? But again,
That's fun.
this also nobody comes up with their own idea. They would have, see, again, in this entire world, right, nothing is unique. Everything is a copy of something. Okay,
Mhm.
but it's how you portray your things in a more different way, add some amount of your element to it, rather than just directly copying it. But still, maybe because I've seen this brand called Neiman's. Neiman's always sends a note with the products. So whatever
Yeah.
product you buy, they give you a dedicated note for that, and they give like a very good note. Maybe this founder would have thought, maybe why don't I send a, as it is Diwali, why don't I send a return note, right?
Yeah.
So he might have wrote that note like maybe 100, 200 pages, papers, like in a small cardboard, and then he would have just added the name. And it could also not be the founder itself. It could have been some other else from the team as well. Not necessary that the founder should have done it, but that was a good experience. So definitely, I would say, in order to make your brand, see, again, when it comes to e-commerce, branding also plays a important role. Your
Yeah.
marketing also plays an important, so it should be 50-50, right? If the branding is less, and if you're just pushing more money into your marketing part, then there is no point, then you will not have a brand recall. But if your branding is also the same level of how your marketing is going, then people will always start recognizing your brand, no matter what, wherever they see any single element of your. So now, like when I look at a cardboard which is in the shape of a bottle, I know it is from Neiman's, because Neiman's, from the time they have began their brand, so I have purchased almost 2 to 3 products from Neiman so far. So I have all the 3 cards that I've received from Neiman. So it that unique element always stays in my mind, right? So
Mhm.
wherever I see the brand, so that particular shape bottle, I automatically, and if somebody tomorrow copies the same thing, right, I will be able to identify that this is not a your unique invention. You have somehow copied from, but again, it's okay to copy. I'm not saying it's bad, but again, you get to know all these things only when you start looking at your competitors, right?
Right.
You don't have to, again, see, not every time you have to come up with a new strategy or things like that. Just follow what your competitor is doing, and just tweak certain things and make it look like as if it is yours, and then do the same. It's completely not a problem at all. So yeah, absolutely, if you are doing your competitor research properly, then obviously it will have a good impact in your conversion rates as well as your customer loyalty as well.
Mhm.
And that's the advice that I would definitely give for any marketer who's watching this podcast, or any D2C brand owner who's looking at this particular podcast.
I think one lesson that we can take directly from this podcast is do your competitive research, see what your competitors are doing. You can copy the
Yeah,
initial steps and you can mix your own flavors into it,
ID.
make it
Yeah,
unique, and let it work for you, right?
yes, absolutely.
And the example that you shared, I just love the personal message thing. The reason is because you felt like the founder. He has so many things to do and yet he's sitting there.
Absolutely.
Even if he didn't do that, you are feeling that, and that made you feel that made you a loyal customer, and so you kept making different purchases from the same brand. And I love the
Yes.
idea. So moving ahead with the competitive intelligence, one term that we're missing is predictive analysis. Can you explain a little bit about what exactly is predictive analysis and how is it actually helping D2C brands to make decisions based on what trends might come in the following time?
Yeah. So I can actually take a lot of examples for predictive analysis, right? Like in the game of social media,
Hmm.
in the game of reels and all those things,
Yeah.
you can now easily identify which particular reel is going to go viral. Okay, which audio is trending right now. So that's how I would, on a simple terms, right? If I have to talk about predictive analysis, it's all about how you figure out certain things, how you make informed decisions, and predict what's going to happen. If you have like good set of data, you will definitely be able to do the predictive analysis part, right? And again, when I thought for the jewelry brand, when I looked at the competitor, when I understood that okay, this particular feature is helping them get more sales, and I kind of predicted that, and I added a similar thing to my client's website, and
Hmm.
that eventually started giving me results, right? So
Hmm.
you have to basically, with respect to predictive analysis, you need to be very good. You'd have to be, first of all, you need to be very good at doing your research properly.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to get the right data. Okay, and you need to turn that data into informative or a proper information for yourself, so
Hmm.
that will help you give or make at least data driven decisions, right?
Yeah.
Because in today's world, if you're not able to make proper decisions, and again, I also usually see the mistakes doing by certain marketers, that they take decisions without looking at any data,
Yeah.
just random decisions, and they end up doing a blunder. Okay, and this is what I've seen. But obviously, being in a marketing space for quite some time, and being in the D2C space for almost 2 years now, I've understood that don't take any sort of decisions looking without looking at any data, because
Hmm.
the more information that you have, the more information can be put into a proper Excel sheet, and you can drive a lot of insights from that, right? So that's how I would put it, and these data is what will actually help you to predict certain things on what's going to happen, what trend is going to happen. So
Right.
you have to be well informed with a lot of things. So that's how I would put it in a very simple term.
Hmm. Well, you have put it in a very well formed line. And talking a little bit about data, can you specify maybe any three things that you would look by the data perspective while you are doing your competitive research? What are the three specific data that you would definitely be sure to look into?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to like pinpoint like specifically three things, because
Mm-hmm.
as I said, when you do your competitive research, you have to look at multiple elements. You
Yeah.
have to see like when is their graph moving, what changes did they make to move that graph up, right?
Mm.
And just to move that graph up, you might have done a lot of things, right?
Mm.
It could be anything. It could be even a simple color change in the website. This is also a part of the CRO activity, right? Let's say you find a common element saying that, hey, most of the people are using a black color button for add to cart. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
that could be due to a reason, right? So I wouldn't be able to specifically say that these are the kind of data that you need to look into, because for different, I mean, multiple different things, data will be different from each other.
Yeah.
Okay, but so yeah, that's how I would put it. I don't know if I'll be able to give you like a proper
Yeah.
metric for it, because when it comes to competitive research, I would say you look at every single thing, and then you would come up with a customized set of data, and then convert it to numbers, and then you take your decisions, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it could be because it is completely dependent on different brands,
Mm-hmm.
right? Different brands have different analysis, different trends, and the way, not every, and again, not every uh, strategy has to work for every single brand. Just because a jewelry brand is doing so and so thing doesn't mean that it will also work for every single other brand, right? Or let's say
Mm-hmm.
if a skincare brand is showing I mean, like a cosmetics doctor in their product page, doesn't mean that you'll get good conversions.
Yeah.
It's completely different, but you will have to understand how your end users behave, right? If you see, again, if you know your end users really well, then that itself plays a really huge role. And again, that also you can easily understand by looking at various product reviews. Like you go to Amazon, you check out a particular product and see what's the behavior that the customer has towards that particular product, or what is their point of view, what how do they respond to that particular product. Has it helped them in any way? Has it not helped them in any way? If it has not, then what are the major changes that you can do in your own product to make it better, right? So these are kind of
Mm-hmm.
uh, thoughts that you need to look into. So that's why I said, like, there is no set data or specific thing. It's all about logical things. And also, if you understand your customer psychology properly, then you can definitely do a lot more better than any other D2C brand out there.
Absolutely. I think I would like to highlight one major point that you mentioned here. That was you start looking when their graph changes.
Yeah.
And it sounds very simple, but it's very complicated. And it's so
Yes,
deep,
it
it
is.
can literally make or break a brand. Because if their graph is, if whenever their graph is changing, they might be doing something extraordinary to
Yeah.
make it grow. And that is where we have to keep an eye to our competitors, right?
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
so wrapping up this podcast, I would just like from you to give our listeners an idea. If you could take like 2 to 3 minutes here and talk about how do you start. Like, if you could just share, if you, let's say we are looking into a competitor's website, taking example
Mhm.
maybe of a beauty brand or a jewelry brand that you have worked with. So, what exactly are the points that you will start looking into? Like, okay, the pricing factor, maybe the product description, and maybe at the landing page, how the product is positioning on the landing page. Can you give us an idea of how to start that competitive research, like a kickstart for the
Yeah.
list?
Yeah, sure. So, be it a marketer or be it a D2C brand, or let's say, I will literally say like what exactly I do on a daily basis along with my CRO team to
Mhm.
understand what exactly is the commerce, so that we also stay on top of our competitors, and we also make sure that we are not anywhere down. So this is our exact process. So basically, we take any brand, like whoever is either who's doing a good. Who's doing a good in sales, and again, you can understand if they're doing really good just by looking at their ads library. If they are
Okay.
pumping in a lot of ads, you might find tons of ads in their ads library, which
Yeah.
will literally say if they are doing good or not. And also one metric that we usually look at in the ads library is that we try to look at which date has that particular ad creator started running. Like for example, let's say today it is November, right? Let's say if a particular creative has been running from August or September, then that means that particular product is driving them more sales, or else they wouldn't be running that particular ad creative for quite some time. So this is the first metric that we look, okay, whenever we start our research. And we take most of the bigger brands because again, there is also a thing that I've faced. Like there are certain new age brands, when they start, they always look at the bigger brands, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and they say like, they are doing this, why are we not getting sales, right?
Yeah.
But there's a massive difference because they started maybe 2 years or 3 years back. You have just started today, right? You
Yeah.
have, and they have built a lot of things. Obviously, you can learn a lot of things from them, but when you implement it for your brand, then it takes some time for the entire thing to kick in.
Yeah.
So once I have a look at the ads library of whatever brand that I'm picking, let's say if it is a skincare brand, let's say I take one of the biggest skincare brands, anything, it could be any brand, it could be Mamaearth, or it could be Minimalist, or it could be any brand, okay.
Yeah.
I take a brand, look at their ads library, see which product is performing really well. And again, this should also resonate with the client that we are working as well. It should be a bit similar. It shouldn't be like completely odd. You cannot, for example, let's say you take a brand like Minimalist, you cannot compare them with an Ayurvedic brand because
Yeah.
both the niches are different. Though they are into skincare, you can never compare them both. But there are times where you can get certain amount of inspiration from them, the way they have coded certain things, right? Now, once I've looked at the ads library, I go to the website, okay, specific to this particular product, and I see what are the different changes that they have done. And if you have a tool like Panorama Meta, this literally shows you every single thing. And like, again, for people who are not able to afford a tool like Panorama Meta, then you can do most of the things manually, right? Once you go into the landing page, you have to analyze right from the beginning, like how they have portrayed their gallery section, what is the kind of images they have placed in their gallery section, or have they placed like informative based content, because most of the people who shop online use their mobile phones, they don't use their laptops, okay.
Right.
So if you take any D2C brand, they use their mobile phone first. And if somebody is shopping from mobile phone, the first thing that they see in a skincare brand, in a skincare product page, I mean in a product page, is the image itself, okay. They don't see the
Right.
title. Certain times they see the image, and there are certain brands who puts the title on the first. But again, there are certain brands which don't put the product name in the title. Rather, they talk about a pain point in their title.
Yeah.
They'll just remove the entire title from there, I mean the product name, and they will say like, hey, are you looking for a product which will reduce your acne? This could be the pain point where they would have come into the landing page, right? So this is how we brands do. And we've also tested out these kind of headlines for our skincare client, and we've seen a good amount of increase in the conversion rate as well, right? Only when you're able to have something relevant in the product page, people convert faster. Rather than having a acne cream, change the title to, hey, are you looking for an acne skincare product? Then you're on the right page. So you're literally talking to the customer, right?
Yeah.
Then they see the title, or let's say if they're even seeing the gallery image, you can actually use these kind of sentences in your gallery image as well. Hey, this is the right product if you're looking for an acne problem, right?
Yeah.
It's very simple, direct copy, right? And then when somebody scrolls, and people love scrolling because Instagram has made people
We just do that.
scrollable friendly, I would say,
Yeah.
right? Be it swipe up or swipe right,
We love to do that.
people have been used to it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you also consider your entire product page to like your carousel post to like an image gallery in your product page, right? That's how you need to consider it. So
Right.
then when people swipe on the right, you need to provide them valuable information rather than saying that, hey, I my product has so and so thing. Or just don't, if you're a skincare brand, don't just have an image which is in a plain background. It's not going to bring you any value, because you need to convey the message to the people. Only then people will buy faster, or
Yeah.
they will resonate to the problem that they have, right? So every time a person scrolls a particular image, you need to give them as much value as possible, and also try to include your call to action as well in your gallery image. It works really well, because once they have read the entire gallery image, or let's say if they've skimmed through the entire gallery image, you need to tell them what you need to do, right?
Yeah.
Don't just end the gallery as it is. Think as if it is a Instagram carousel post, right? At the end of every single Instagram carousel post, you will have a CTA. right? Think of your product or image gallery as like that, right? Now the gallery section is done, then you scroll down, see if they have reviews. What kind of reviews do they have? And once the review section is done, you can add some trust badges saying that, hey, it is paraben free, it is vegan, so and so, because these are the things that people want to actually see, right?
Yeah.
And then you have your call to action, which is either you add the product to the cart or you directly buy the product from. Okay. Then see if they have something called as A plus content. Usually this A plus content trend happened in Amazon, because when you take any product in Amazon, the moment you scroll down, you see a lot of informations where they would have explained the product in depth.
Yeah.
Like they take even smaller elements, saying, let's say if you're trying to buy a microphone, then they will say the microphone has the mesh on top, it has noise cancellation, so and so. And if you're a skincare brand, you have to literally explain each and every single thing to your customer in
Mhm.
the A plus content. You will not be able to educate the customer everything in the image gallery section, and see if there are certain things that is being input, because if your competitor is doing it for a reason, then you should also definitely implement
Yeah.
it, because there will be people who will be willing. That's what I said. Like if somebody is buying a skincare product, they will definitely do their research. Okay. And you have to have all the questions answered in your landing page. Don't think
Yeah.
your landing page just to be a page. Consider it as a sales, like
Pitch.
a sales brochure.
Yeah.
Okay, a pitch. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Right. And see how they have presented their reviews. Have they presented the reviews in video format? Have they presented their video in image, like how you see it on Amazon, right? The
Mhm.
customer would have taken a photo of the product, and they would have given their review. See what kind of testimonials is the customer using
Mhm.
on the page, and see if there are any new elements which is something very unique which you haven't seen in any other brand. Pick it up, try to implement your landing page, see if you can make something more better out of it, right?
Mhm.
And again, there should also be certain times where you will see a common trend in every single product page. So see if that trend is common in every, if see if there are any other brands also utilizing it. If you see two or three more brands using the same thing, then that should be a working model for them,
Yeah.
right? And test it out. Don't see,
Mhm.
whenever you make any single changes into your landing page, don't just blindly trust, okay, competitor is doing, then even if I will do, I will get it. But no, that's what I said, like, not every strategy has to work for you, but you have to test. When you
Yeah.
do something on a landing page, test it for a while. There you can use tools like Microsoft Clarity or Hotjar to see what exactly your customer is doing. How exactly are they behaving to a particular section? Are they spending time over there? You can literally get the entire recording of a customer and see what exactly they are doing.
Mhm.
Right, these are the kind of things that I look at. And next part, once I look at the entire website, I spend a lot of time on the website, because that is exactly where they do the most of the things.
Yeah.
Now once the website is done, I go into their social media page, because I feel not many brands are actually, even like bigger brands,
Mhm.
like not every brand, but again there are certain bigger brands or bigger people's brand,
Mhm.
they don't realize the fact on how their social media works. And I've also seen a lot of people injecting a lot of fake followers into their social media profile, which is a very bad idea.
Yeah.
Being any D2C brand, right? In order to show people that, hey, I have so and so followers. Nowadays, you can easily identify whether if it is a fake follower or not, just by seeing the kind of engagement that they get in each post.
It also breaks
Okay,
the trust as audience.
100%.
Mhm.
It completely ruins your entire brand.
Yeah.
We've also had like
Mhm.
previous clients who was doing, and we forced the client to start a new Instagram page,
Mm.
and that, even having 1,000 followers in that particular page, we were able to generate a lot of organic sales from the content that we were publishing on social
Absolutely.
media.
Mhm.
And now once website is done, then we go into the social media page to see what kind of content are they posting, because as I said, branding also should be 50 percentage, your
Yeah.
marketing or your performance marketing part should be also on this same thing. Organic paid should be equal. It shouldn't be like paid on the top and then branding on the less. You have to spend
Mhm.
equally, because you should always don't just create like a one time experience for a client. Rather, you try to create a repeat kind of experience for a client, or at least the customer should feel like coming back to you again and again and buying the product. That's how you can actually grow a D2C business sustainably.
Mm.
And this is what I feel most of the people miss out. And once I have done the entire research on social media as well, like I just look at what kind of content they're posting, how frequently are they posting, what kind of stories are they posting, are they trying to generate any sales from their stories, because sales helps you, I mean, sorry, the stories as a placement in your social media. Not many people understand the value of stories, because you see most amount of engagement happening with stories. If you're a brand who's consistently posting at least 3 to 5 stories in a day, it creates a lot of engagement, and it also adds, it also brings new people to your stories as well. Like if somebody, you post a story, and let's say if somebody shares that story somewhere, that also brings you organic traffic. It reaches to new people, right? So these are the kind of things that I analyze, and this is like a one week, 2 week of work which we do just for the research part. And this is what my CRO team spends most of the time. I have actually hired a CRO expert just for this particular thing, because I, being a VP of a company or being the head of performance marketing, usually I don't get the full-fledged time to sit on this. But now that I have a person, I give him a deadline, and he comes to me with a report saying that, hey, these are the things that these brands are doing new, we have to implement this, and he himself puts the timeline for it, and he gets it to the web development team and gets the things done. And that's the kind of workflow that we have set in our agency. And yeah, this is on a overall thing that we look, if we are definitely have to do a competitive research, these are the kind of activities that we do. Again, while saying it might feel it is easy, but it is not. It takes a lot of time. You have to put in a lot of sweat to get things done. You have to be you have to look at numbers really well, because you need to don't just take decisions just for the sake of it, but take decisions based on data, because data will never fool you. So that's how I would put it.
Actually, I was about to say the same thing, that you made it sound so simple because of the experience that you have and because you have done it so many times. But this takes a lot of time and a lot of experience. And I think after doing it, after keeping it in a loop, because some people think it's a one-time job. Like, okay, we analyze the customers, the competitor's website, and they're done with it. I think they have to do it repetitively, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you so much, Emil. So much information in just one podcast. I think we have to break it and make different parts of it. Really, because so
Definitely.
much useful information here, which can actually help those D2C brand owners realize that there are things that they are missing out on, and it can actually make a huge impact on their sales, right? So
Yes, absolutely.
that's all for today. I am hoping that another, maybe after 2 months, you'll come back to ML and we'll ask him for another
Definitely.
podcast very
Happy
soon.
to do
Thank
one
you
more.
so much. Thank you so much, Emil, for your time and effort and energy that you bring into each podcast. I love that energy. And I'm sure our listeners would agree to it. Thank you so much for our listeners for being a part of Plum Talks. And I hope we'll see you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Episodes on our website or YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to show your support. We also have a very special treat for marketers seeking to enhance their skills in PPC marketing. Visit our website and explore our free academy section, exclusively designed to provide valuable resources and knowledge in this field. And to connect with marketers like yourself, join our Slack community for marketers. Details given in caption below.